Welcome to the session. Today we are going to discuss the outcome-based education and how it is going to be implemented to the subject discrete mathematical structures. See here, there are so many issues in higher education. So one is accountability towards the students. That means fulfilling the requirements of the curriculum and satisfying the needs of the industry. That is the unemployed graduates which will be there. Then the maintaining academic standards. So, and accountable to grant providing organizations. Next, accreditations. So these are the issues will be there. One is in higher education, accountability towards the students and satisfying the needs of the industry and maintaining academic standards and accountable to grant providing the organizations and accreditations. See here, why we need the outcome-based education. See here, to fulfill the requirements of EAC, Engineering Accreditation Council, BEM, Board of Engineering Malaysia, Washington Accord, BEM registered graduates and professional engineers, programs attain standards comparable to global practice, hence accreditation is required. EAC is the body developed by BEM and it requires elements of outcomes in engineering curriculum to ensure CQI is a continuous quality improvement culture in spirit of OBE. Then, what is the accreditation objectives? So, graduates of accredited programs satisfying minimum requirements of the registered minimum requirement for registration with BEM, IEM, and next ensures the continuous quality improvement is being practiced. So, next, what is the outcome-based education? Outcome-based education is a institutional model that forms the base of a quality educational system. There is no single specified style of teaching or assessment in OBE. All educational activities carried out in OBE should help the students to achieve the set goals. The faculty may adopt the role of instructor, trainer, facilitator, or a mentor based on the outcome targeted. And OBE ensures the traditional methods and focus on what the institution provides to the students. And it shows the students by making or demonstrating the outcomes using statements able to do in favor of students. OBE provides clear standards for observable and measurable outcomes. See, in India, OBE accreditation from 13th June 2014, India has become the permanent signatory member of the Washington Accord. Implementation of OBE in higher technical education is also started in India. Whenever it will become on 13th after that, then it is going to be, implementation is going to be taken place. Then the National Accreditation Board, NAC, and NBA are autonomous bodies for promoting global quality standards for technical education in India. So these are the NAC and NBA are the two autonomous bodies for promoting the global quality standards for technical education. NBA has started accrediting only the programs running with OBE from 2013. And the National Board of Accreditation mandates establishing a culture of outcomes-based education in institutions that offers engineering, pharmacy management programs. And reports of outcome analysis help to find gaps and carry out continuous improvements in the educational system of an institution, which will be very essential. Now, why OBE? It is international recognition and global employment opportunities. Why we need OBE? It is a international recognition and global employment opportunities, and more employable and innovative graduates with the professional soft skills, social responsibilities, and ethics. Better visibility and repudiation of technical institution among the stakeholders, improving the commitment and improvement of all stakeholders. And the fifth one is enabling the graduates to excel in their profession and accomplish greater heights in their careers, and preparing the graduates for the leadership positions and challenging them and making them aware the opportunities in the technical development. So to achieve all the things, we require the OBE. Then why we go for the OBE concepts instead of there is a traditional educational approach will be there. In the traditional educational approach, there are passive learners are there. Passive learners means students are going to concentrate only whatever the teacher says. Accordingly, they are going to traditional educational approach. So in this traditional educational approach, students are becoming passive learners. That means that they won't be dynamic, and whatever the teacher says and whatever the teacher says in the specific duration, and the students are going to be concentrated only on those aspects. So students may become passive and examination driven. So whatever the examination syllabus concerned, according to that, the student is going to be focus and concentrate, and to clear the examination point of view only is going to concentrate on that. And the syllabus is content based and broken down into subjects. Syllabus are going to be content based and going to be divided into several subjects. And a textbook and teacher centered, and a syllabus rigid and negotiable and non-negotiable. And the teachers are responsible for learning, and motivation depends on the personality of the teacher. That means teacher to teacher, the responsible to motivate the students, it will vary. And emphasis on what teacher hopes to achieve. And next, content placed in a rigid time frame, and the curriculum development process is not open public comment. So these are in the traditional educational approach, these are the drawbacks are there. One is the students are passive learners and examination driven, and the syllabus is content based and broken down into subjects, and textbook bound and teacher centered, and the syllabus rigid and non-negotiable, and motivation depends on the personality of the teacher, and emphasis on what teacher hopes to achieve, and content placed in a rigid time frame, and curriculum development process is not open public comment. So these are the traditional traditional educational process. Drawbacks will be there, and we are going to represent the same in the pictorial manner. So here in this input, the teaching staff will be there input, and the curriculum will be there, and the laboratories will be there, and other resources will be there, and all are going to be concentrating different teaching learning methodologies will be there. It is completely based on the assessment, mainly based on the examinations and tests or assignments, or whatever the duration, minimum duration time we are going to conduct in different ways. we are going to conduct the tests or assignments or group discussions or anything. So specifically, the teaching learning process is going to be concentrating only on exams or different tests or different assignments, like that it will be there. And the next, quality control from teaching evaluation. Then under this, the students are going to be graduates. So here the syllabus will be restricted, and next every teacher is going to be, some teachers are motivated and some teachers are not going to be motivated, and it is going to be completely examinations centric. So based on that only, it is going to be will be there in the traditional educational process. And now in the new educational approach, students will become active learners. That means the students are not going to be depending on the teachers, what they are saying that. And it is going, now the students are going to be learn themselves, and by going to different channels and different educational channels, and then they are going to go through that, and in different manners that they are going to learn from different teachers, and he himself become active learner. And learners are assessed on the outgoing basis. And critical thinking will be improved, and reasoning and reflection and actions will be improved. And integration of knowledge, learning relevant and connected real-time situations will be improved. And a lecture is not centered. Always a lecture is not going to be centered, and he is going to the felicitator, and that means he is going to divide into groups and ask them to work according to their convenient, and just he is going to monitor, and whatever the laggings will be there, and he is going to be providing the laggings whatever they require. And next, flexible time frames will be there. There is no particular time slot will be, and we can create a different time slots, and we can arrange the lectures to the students, and they are going to not in a particular classroom scenario, and he can sit anywhere, and he can listen, and during the different time intervals, and he can upgrade himself. And next, comments and input from the wider community is going to be encouraged. And earlier in the traditional educational system, then this is not going to be encouraged, and whereas here it is going to be encouraged. And outcome will be assessed in different ways and ongoing basis. So assessment is the integral part of the whole system. Students will not get the marks just for remembering the subject's content, different aspects of learners. So here, students are just there, they are not able to mug up, and they are going to produce in the traditional educational approach. Here, that will not be there in this new educational process. And different aspects of learners' abilities will be considered, and such as creating and critical thinking will be accessed. So assessment is the integration of the whole system, and students will not get the marks. Just see, this is not going to be collecting the remembering the concepts or contents, and it is not going to concentrate on these things. So these are the new educational approach, and this is a new educational approach just we are going to represent in a pictorial manner. So here, teaching input teachers will be there, curriculum will be there, labs will be there, and other resources will be there. And teaching learning methodologies will be in different ways. Assessment by the examination, tests, and the assignments will be there. Assessment of teaching staff, lecture material and flow, and next the results on the student capabilities, and lab interviews, exit surveys, and all. So completely it is depending on the process is going to be depending on so many factors. Apart from that, the student PSOs are going to be defined by the department itself, and to achieve the graduates to fulfill the stakeholder satisfaction. Apart from the PEOs, and PEOs also going to be defined by the institution, and based on that, there is a milestones will be set up, and according to the milestones, whether it will be satisfying the stakeholders as well as the broader community, in order to know the deficiencies, and they have to get through and to overcome the deficiencies, and we have to set up the milestones. Those milestones are nothing but a program educational outcomes. These are the long-term goals, and we are going to assess whether this is going to be achieved or not in the outcome-based educational system. Now here, higher educational institutions are classified by two categories by NBA. One is a Tier 1 and another one is a Type 2. So Tier 1 is institutions consisting of all IITs, NITs and central universities, state universities, and autonomous institutions are coming under Tier 1, whereas the affiliated colleges under the universities are coming to the Tier 2. So under these Tier 1 and Tier 2, we are going to higher educational institutions are going to be classified by NBA. And here, this is the framework, the OBE framework, and OBE framework in this, from the industry and the professional organization, inputs are going to be collected, or feedbacks or inputs are going to be collected, and next institution vision and mission is going to be developed, and PEOs are going to be developed, and student outcomes are going to be developed, and course learning outcomes are going to be developed. And then by the days developing, they have to prepare their own syllabus, and next teaching methods, and learning activities, and next assessment tools they have to, and next course assessment we have to justify by programming assessment, and next institutional assessment, whatever we are going to target it, that is going to be assessment evaluation, whatever vision mission will be set up, that will be reached or not, institutional level, PEOs will be there, that is reached or not at the department level, and it is going to be assessed by done all the course of planning and delivery. So from that, we are going to, assessment is going to be taken place. Now, we are going to discuss elaborately each of the things. Now here, the same thing we are going to, vision mission is going to be set up, and after that PEOs are going to be set up, after that POs are going to be set up, after that COs are going to be, learning outcomes are going to be set up for the different subjects. And from this also, we can define whether the COs are attained or not, or POs are attained or not, and POs are attained or not, whether vision and mission is going to be attained or not, that is going to be discussed. And now, vision and mission. So, statements help to define the institutional vision and mission. Statement help in defining aspirations and to remain focused. So here, remain focused, and the vision should be written in a simple language and easy to communicate, and should define the objectives which present a near future of the institution. Vision statement is a dream of where one wants the institution to be, and inspire all the stakeholders. And of course, mission, after set up the vision and a mission is there, then it is a actionable plan. Mission statements are actionable statements that guide the stakeholders to act. And next, how to formulate vision and mission statements. It is a bottom-up procedure and involve all the stakeholders, and discussion, brainstorming, and gaps analysis are Next, SWOT, that means strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats we are going to analyze. We are going to analyze, and we have to fulfill wherever weaknesses will be there. That is going to be identified, and it will be rectified. And the next, challenges. What are the challenges are there before the institution? And the next, what are the immediate and long-term goals we have to set up? And the next, evolve the vision mission statements based on these discussions. And the next, another one is a strategic plan. So now we are going to discuss by taking one sample of the vision and mission. So let us say vision, while we are going to set up the vision of the institution level, it should be as simple as one everybody should understood, and it is easily we can attain the vision to emerge as one of the nation's finest institution and of a higher learning in the field of technical education, to develop professionals who are technically competent and ethical, environment friendly, for better society. So this is the vision of the institution. So the vision of the institution means to emerge the national finest institution. That means to become the whatever the institution will be there, it should be the nation's finest institution. That means one of the toppest institutions in higher learning and higher learning in technical education, to develop the professionals who are technically competent and ethical and environment friendly for better society. So to set up this vision, and how to then, what is the mission is to accomplish the stimulating learning environment for students through quality teaching, research and outreach activity by providing state-of-art facilities, industry exposure and guidance of dedicated faculty. And now, see here, this is a institutional level vision and mission. And the next department is so based on the, see, all departments, each and every department will have the set of the vision, and which is going to be support to the institution vision. So all the departments' visions are achieved, then subsequently the institution vision mission is also going to be achieved. So the department vision mission is going to be developed. It is completely based on the institution vision mission. Based on that only it will be developed. So to be excellent center inspiring quality education. So these are the some department vision mission. Vision is going to be, which is completely depending on the institutional vision, and mission is nothing but see here, to be excellent center for imparting quality education in civil engineering for a constantly challenging societal needs with the credibility, integrity and ethical standards. So these are whatever we mentioned. This is institutional vision also is going to be supported, and the corresponding mission is going to be supported. So here, while we are going to set the vision statements, and while we are going to decide either institution mission or department vision, or next the corresponding vision or mission, then it is going to be discussed. It is going to be consulted by taking the direct stakeholders or indirect stakeholders. We are going to take the suggestions. And it is going to be discussed. Either it is a institution vision or departmental vision is going to be discussed in the department, and which will be whatever the discussions will be there, the discussions are going to be approved in the academic council, and whatever the points are going to be approved in the academic council, that is going to be ratified in the governing body. If it is not going to be ratified in the governing body, once again, it is going to be review on the department vision or institution vision, or everything is going to be once again taking into the feedbacks into the consideration of the direct or indirect stakeholders. Once again, it is going to be discussed and it is going to be approved until it is going to be ratified in the governing body. Once if it is going to be ratified in the governing body and that vision and mission of the departments or institution, it will be considered as the final. Now, after set up the vision, and now how we are going to achieve that vision. So how we are going to say that the vision is achieved or the vision is not achieved at the institutional level or at the departmental level. So for that, we are going to define the program educational objectives. Program educational objectives. See, these program educational objectives are going to be defined by the head of the department in the consultation with the family members, in the consultation with the faculty members of the department concerned or the any other persons. And next, PEOs are promised by the department to the aspiring students about what they will achieve once they joined in the program. That means whenever the student is going to join in the program, then what he is going to achieve. So based on that, PEOs are going to be defined. And the PEOs are about the professional and career accomplishment after 4 to 5 years of graduation. So this is going to be assessed after one batch of the graduation or two batch of the graduations are completed. Students are graduated, then these PEOs are going to be assessed. So PEOs are going to be a long-term goals. Long-term goals after one or two batches completed, then only the PEOs are going to be assessed. And the next, PEOs can be written in the different perspective like a career and technical competencies and behavior. And PEOs do not use technical terms as it will read by prospective students then who wants to join in the program. So how many number of PEOs are going to be defined? Here there are 3 to 5 PEOs are going to be recommended. So these are the related to the PEOs. PEOs program educational objectives, and which is going to be decided whether the department vision is going to be achieved or not. For that, it is going to be set up milestones, and these milestones are going to be discussed in the head of the department by the consulting with the faculty members of the department concerned or any prominent members or experts from the outside indirect stakeholders. And next, PEOs are then it is going to be assessed only after completion of 1 or 2 batches. Then the PEOs are going to be assessed, and there is no technical terms should not be appeared in that. And another one is how many number of PEOs are. PEOs are any number, but it preferably recommended 3 to 5 PEOs are going to be recommended. So to set up with the department wise. And the next, program outcomes. So earlier it was graduate aptitudes will be there. Now these are treated as program outcomes 1, PO1, PO2, PO3 and so on. It will be there. So PO1 specifies engineering knowledge, and PO2 specifies problem analysis, and PO3 specifies design and development solution, and PO4 specifies graduation investigations. Like this, all PO12s are mentioned as well, and we are going to take on this POs and the next PEOs and the next COs, and we are going to justify whether these program outcomes are attained or not. Now, apart from the POs, and if all the POs are not sufficient to fulfill the requirement of the department, then there are some more POs are going to be defined. That is known as a program specific outcomes. Program specific outcomes. So this is going to vary from department to department, and PSOs are going to be vary from the department to department. And if the POs are not fulfilling all the requirements of the department concerned, and the PSOs are going to be defined. So there are three PSOs will be there, and these three PSOs are mentioned in this manner. And now one more important assessment. The assessment way is Bloom's taxonomy. So in the Bloom's taxonomy in 1956, the Bloom's taxonomy is this. Later it was going to be modified in 2001, and 2001 there will be some factors. So the questions are either it will be coming from remembrance or understanding or applying or analyze and evaluate and create. So based on this, we are going to assess the level of the question paper, or else the level of the student, or else the past quality of the past students in that particular subject. So these are the one of the most assessment way is nothing but the Bloom's taxonomy. So here in the Bloom's taxonomy, and there are 6 levels will be there, and lower levels, one is only the remembering. Remembering means it is just recollecting the topics, or recollecting the questions, or by having the questions, and then they are going to reproduce. So that is comes under remembering. And understanding, whatever we are going to know the concepts, and by knowing the concept, we are going to interpreting in some other way, or organizing or arranging in or comparing in some other way. That is comes under understanding. So these two we are going to call it as lower cognitive levels, and the remaining the apply. So apply, if you want to use the this thing, then one should know the remembering and next understand level. Then the apply concept is going to be used, and apply the acquired knowledge, facts and techniques are the rules, and whatever the he is going to understood, that is going to be apply, and it is going to be solve this. And the next analyze is also identifying the motives or causes, make the inferences and find evidence to support the generalization, and evaluate is another parameter, and next create will be there. So these are the, we are calling it as a higher cognitive levels. So these are the first two are lower cognitive level, and then are the higher cognitive level. Then how to identify whether these the question is either it is a remember level, or understand level, or apply level, or analyze level. So for that there are some verbs will be there. So here we are going to write the cognitive levels, and creative, and putting elements together in the form of new and coherent, and whatever we discussed there, and we are going to mention all the things. Now we came to know whatever the cognitive levels, either it is a low cognitive level or high cognitive level, lower cognitive levels or high cognitive levels. Then we are going to know by knowing the verbs which are going to be associated with that. So here any question is coming which is classified into a remember one, and the appropriate verbs are going to be used. Based on that, we can say that either the question is a remembering question, or the question is a understand, like that. So all cognitive levels, or Bloom's levels, there are verbs will be there. So based on the verbs, we can assess what is the level of that Bloom's level. We can identify that, and from that we can say that either it will be question paper, or else naturally whenever the levels are higher, it will go to the higher level, and then we can say that then we can say that the paper or whatever the question paper, and it will be difficult enough. And if it is concentrating only on remembering, then the paper standard is very less. Paper standard is very less. So whenever if you are going to use the Bloom's levels, so the assessment manner which is having all the types of questions, all the types of related Bloom's levels, then only the assessment pattern is going to be in a correctly. We are going to say that it is a standard one. Otherwise, it won't be a standard one. Now, developing a course outcomes. So here, what is a course outcomes? So here we are going to define the courses, and whether we whatever the courses we develop, then whether we are going to set a target and whether it reached or not, we have to know for that. So first, when creating a course outcomes, consider the following guidelines. So we have to follow these guidelines. So first one is, what is the limit the course outcomes to 6 statements of the entire course. So it is nothing but CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5, CO6. So like that, it is going to be divide the entire course. The focus on overwhelming knowledge and skill rather than the small or trivial details. Focus on the knowledge and next skill that are central to the course topic and discipline. So these are the aspects that one should know while developing a course outcome. Now, OBE is mainly while designing a course curriculum or COs or POs or anything. And here some of the basic questions one should know. See, what do you want? See, when developing a learning outcomes, here the core questions he has to ask himself. So whenever any course outcome CO is going to be developing, then one should ask himself, what do you want the students in that course to learn? So what the student is going to learn from that course. And next, what do you want the student to be able to do? What do you want the student to be able to do, or the student able to learn? And next, are the outcomes are observable, are measurable, and are they able to perform by any students? So while making the COs and everybody developing a learning outcomes, and he should know all the 3 aspects. And next, course outcome statements on the course levels describe and what the faculty member want the students to know at the end of the course. After completion of the course, what actually faculty member is seeking is justify what the student had actually learned from that course, and the faculty member want students to be able to do at the end of the course. So he has to set what the student has to learn and whether student has to learn that, able to learn that after completion of that course, and he has to justify that. And the course outcomes has 3 major characteristics. One is observable and measurable, and next the specific action by the student or learner rather than the faculty members. So while developing the learning outcomes, the faculty member's role is a prominent, it is a significant, and by considering all these questions himself, and he has to develop the developing learning outcomes. Now, the COPO course articulation matrix. So once if you are going to define the COs and next the how the POs are related to COs. So what is the mapping between CO and a PO? So that mapping is known as a CO-PO course articulation mapping, course articulation matrix. Okay, so it is nothing but mapping between COs and POs. So it is not like this, mapping of CO-POs. See, it's nothing but course articulation mapping, and articulation matrix is nothing but a mapping of CO-PO. So here, course articulation matrix is so that the educational relationship between the course outcomes and POs. So for each and every course, one should develop the course outcomes and the corresponding POs and what are the relationship between them. This matrix is strongly indicates whether the student is able to achieve the course learning objectives. The matrix can be used for any course and is a good way to evaluate the course syllabus. The table gives the information about the action verbs used in the POs and the nature of POs, stating whether the PO are technical or non-technical. And you need to understand the intention of POs and the Bloom's level to which each of these action verbs in the POs correlates to. Once you have to understood the POs, then you can write the COs for a course and see to what extent each of these COs correlates with the POs. Now, here there's a technical and a non-technical. So here the POs, let us POs, 12 POs will be, and the next action verb will be, and the next Bloom's levels will be, and the next, so for technical courses, Bloom's levels L1 to L4 are preferred for theory courses. So here nothing but the remembering the first four levels. So remembering, understand, next apply, and next analyze. So these are the 4 levels which are going to be allocated for the theory courses, whereas the laboratory courses, if you are considering, up to 5 levels, and mini projects, whereas the project works are considered as all levels. So this is the classification that Bloom's levels for different COs. COs are going to be prepared for theory as well as laboratory, as well as any projects will be there. So for that also it is going to be developed, and based on these COs and theory subjects, and it is going to be related up to 4 levels, and laboratories up to 5 levels, and the remaining mini projects and all, it is going to be considered up to all levels it is going to be. And next, now for the Bloom's L1 is action verb of CO correlates any one of PO6 to PO12, then assign one. Okay, this is going to be later we are going to discuss. And now, so these are the technical and non-technical these things, and what is the CO course articulation matrix. And now, see here, once we are going to write the relationship, and after knowing the relationship, then we have to find out what is the level of dependency. So here the level we are going to find out. So for that we are going to write, that means how much level a PO is going to be depending on COs. And CO, suppose CO is related to PO1, PO2, PO3 as related to CO1, then what is how much it is going to be related? It is slightly depending, or it is moderately depending, or it is highly depending. That we are going to discuss by going through this the key competencies. So identify the key competencies and the levels. We are going to take the levels as by using this. So we are going to say that if the relationship, if it is 1 when we say that, 2 when we say that, and 3 when we say that, it is going to be the depending levels we are going to justify. So for that, we are going to write some of the scaling factors. Some of the scaling factor we are going to take. And here, let us say, we are going to discuss, identify the key competencies of POs and PSOs to each CO. We have to identify each CO. CO1 is what are the key competencies and how many key competencies will be there for POs as well as the PSOs. So that we have to define for each and every CO. So PO is related to different POs and how many key competencies will be there. PO1, how many key competencies. PO2, how many key competencies will be there. And whatever you are considering the CO1 in key competencies of PO1, so how many it is going to be mapped to that? How many it is going to be mapped to that? So that is going to be notified, and that is that number we are going to mark it, and from that number we are going to write the percentages. We are going to percentages, and we are going to write whether there is a relationship will be there, and there is a relationship will be there, and what is the relationship, whether it is a slight or moderate or a high relationship will be there, and that we are going to discuss. Suppose here PO1 will be there. PO1 is it is related to the apply the knowledge of mathematics, science and engineering fundamentals of an engineering specialization to the solution of the complex engineering problems. Now here, this is the PO1. Now here, scientific principles and methodology is one of the key competency, and mathematical principles is another key competencies, and another one is this is the another one. So there are 3 key competencies will be there. So in that, what about CO1? Suppose if it is related to PO1, PO1 is the PO1 key competencies will be mapped to the CO1. Then CO1, how many key competencies are going to be mapped in this? So that we have to discuss. And similarly, PO2, if you are going to consider, so this is the PO2, and PO2 key competencies are, these are the key competencies. So those are we are going to consider as a 10 in number. So problem and opportunity of opportunity identification like this. There are 10 key competencies will be there. So among this is a PO3. PO1 is 3 competencies and PO3 is 10 competencies, like that. We have to write among these competencies how many competencies are going to be mapped into that particular CO. That particular CO, whether it's CO1, if you are going to consider CO1 among these 10, either it is related to only 3 or it is related to only 4 or related to 5. So that we have to identify. So from that, suppose if it is related to 4, then out of 10, it is 4 related, means it is comes under 40%. If it is comes under 40%, then we can say that the level is a low level. The level is correlation level is 1. Correlation level is 1. Suppose if it is 8 key competencies are mapped from this, then 8 out of 10. So it is nothing but 80%, and proportionately 80% is comes under 3. So it is nothing but a substantially high correlation. It is going to be used. So like that we have to measure. What are the key competencies and what will be the key competencies for PO1, PO2, PO3 and so on. And based on that, the percentages are going to be adopted. Now, let us go for our discrete mathematical structures. There are 5 units are there, and 5 units are going to be classified into 6 COs. 6 COs, course outcomes, I am going to consider as in 6 ways. And my intention is in CO1, I just take the student up to apply level, and next CO2, and it is understand level, and it is CO2 and CO3 are understanding level, and the remaining COs apply level we are going to improve. So this is levels, this Bloom's levels are, it is completely depending on the teacher's wish. Accordingly, he has to set up the course syllabus and materials and the questions according to that. It is completely, it's not a specific in this order only we have to select. We have to select by the teacher's point of view and the student's perspective. It is going to be defined in many ways. They are going to define accordingly, and whether afterwards we are going to verify whether the CO1 is reached up to apply level or not. We have to verify. And next, this is also going to be reached or not up to understand level. So that is going to be discussed after that. So now, so this is the mappings that they are going to, how the CO1. CO1 is what? CO1 is make use of mathematical definitions and its notations for reformulating. So this topic, either it is a PO1 is related, then PO1 is related, how much it is going to be related. So this is the table is given only the relation, how they are going to map with the different POs and different COs, how this is. And here, how much it is going to be mapped. So here, out of three, 2 competencies are going to be matched. And out of 3, this is the CO2 is 3 are going to be mapped. And here, there is no PO2. And here, CO2 is mapped, 4 competencies will be there. So how much it is going to be mapped, different POs and different COs that will be given here. And next, that is going to be converted into the percentages. And after converting into the percentages, and then we are considering by this manner. And whichever it is lies in this, there is no correlation. And the percentage lies in this, 1, the correlation level is 1. And the percentage lies is this, the correlation level is 2. Like that, we are going to verify this. We are going to take all the percentages and we are going to convert it into numbers, and we are going to write in the articulation matrix like this. So if it is 3 will be there, then it is 66.7. And see, observe this, all are more than 60. So we can consider all are 3. Like that, we are going to be prepared a course articulation matrix. Then from this, once again, we are going to justify. So now we are going to identify what are the attainment levels. How we are going to identify the course outcome attainment. So here there are attainment levels, and here there are 3 assessment methods are going to be considered. One is teacher's assessment, and next internal assessment is nothing but CE1 and CE2, and next term end examination. So it is completely based on the teacher's perspective. It is going to be defined the levels also. The thing is only up to that level, whether the students are reached or not, that we have to discuss. So level 1, so less than 60% of the students of a particular subject, and scoring less than 60%. Less than 60% of the students scoring more than 60% of the marks. So 60% and above marks, how many students are going to be secured? Suppose if it is 50% of the students are secured more than 60%, then my level will be less than 60%. So it will be considered as 1. Suppose this number is 70 I am going to get, or 65 I am going to get, then it is greater than, this is 60 to 70% students will be there. Then I am going to consider it is level 2. And 70% and above are going to be secured, greater than 70%. Then my assessment is 3. My assessment is 3. Like that, the teacher assessment. So assessment pattern is going to be classified in 3 ways, or any number of ways we can classify. Here we are going to classify I'm going to classify in 3 types. One is a teacher assessment, and the next internal assessment, and the next end examination marks we are going to consider. And different assessment tools, different levels we can consider. See here, 60% I am considering for level 1. Here for the end examination, we consider for 50% only. 50% only. If laboratories will be there, we can consider more than 70% as level 1. Like that. It is completely depending on the subject, and completely depending on the teacher, and how the it is going to be vary. Then suppose these are the some of the students. So here teacher assessment we are going to calculate it for 100, and internal marks we are going to consider, and next end examination marks we are going to consider. So teacher assessment means just by giving the day-to-day evaluation, or by giving some assignments, or giving group discussions, or giving topics to the candidates, and ask him to deliver. So based on that, they are going to give the assessment is going to be done. Assessment is going to be done. So assessment, let us say we are going to consider going to be taken 100 marks, let us take, and I am going to taking in different manner how I am going to consider how much weightage I have to give the teacher assessment and internal assessment and next final examination. See here for final examination, marks based, completely marks based I am going to take. So here how many marks out of 60, how many roll number 1 is going to get 38, roll number 2 is get 26, and roll number 3 is going to get 34, like that. And internal assessment for 40, and roll number 1 is 31, roll number 2 is 32, like that it is going to be. So among all these things, how many students got more than 60%. So that I am going to taking that. So how many students are going to be appeared, and how many percentage attainment is going to be, how many students are going to get more than 60%, and what is the level. I am going to calculate the percentage, and after that we are going to assign the levels. And similarly for that, there are 35 members are going to be appeared for the examination, and 31 is attended, and out of which 30 are going to be got more than 60%. So, and the next percentage is nothing but 96. So it is more than 80%. So level is third level. In the final examination only 29 will be there, and out of 29, 30, 25 are going to be total attainment. And next, here it is. So here it is only total number of student. Then it is so here number of students are appeared, and a number of then the percentages will be like this. So it is nothing but less than 60. So the attainment is 1. The attainment is 1. So here, how much weightage we are going to give? How much weightage we are going to give? So internal assessment we are going to consider for 30 marks, and next teacher assessment we are going to consider for 10 marks, and end examination we are going to consider for 60 marks. So this is the assessment weightage. Assessment weightage. So overall assessment, how we are going to take it as nothing but 30% of A, and next 10% of B, and next 60% of C. Then it is going to get the overall assessment, overall assessment. So like that, there are 31 students are appeared in the teacher assessment, and the next 30, and level I am going to consider. Then the weightage is nothing but, so this is what I am going to consider for 10%. For 10%, 10 marks I have to consider. So 10 marks I have to consider means by 100, by 10 I am going to consider for this. So it is nothing but a 0.3. And then the weightage, next one is internal assessment. Internal assessment, it is nothing but we are going to consider for 30%. Then this is it is nothing but 3. It is nothing but 30% we are going to consider. So whatever we are getting into 3, we are going to multiply. So it is nothing but 9. And similarly here also 1, and 60% we are going to consider for the final examination. So that is nothing but a 0.6 into 1. So we are going to get. So then we are going to apply the assessment attainment factor in two ways. We are going to assignment factor A1 is going to be calculated in this manner. So subsequently we are going to get 1.8. 1.8. This is the attainment factor. And next another one is the attainment through the question paper. Then I'm not going to see the for attainment factor of A1. We are not going in depth of the question paper. We are just concentrating only the marks of the final marks. Now we have to go through the in depth of each and every question and how many of the students are attempted this CO1 question, and out of which how many are going to be scored greater than 60% of marks. That we have to calculate each and every question wise. It is from the question paper. And we are going to predict that. We are going to write the levels and we are going to take the average. And these two averages we are going to take once again average. That is nothing but the CO attainment for that particular subject. So this is the direct attainment. Overall, the CO attainment direct. Indirect attainment also will be there. That is also going to be calculated and in the other manner. And it is going to be take the average of these two. Then we are going to get the overall CO attainment, both direct as well as indirect. So this is the way that we are going to find out the attainment, and whatever the targeted, whatever the attainment we set, and this number is going to be reached that or not. If it is reached, no problem. If it is not reached, then we have to identify what are the drawbacks. Will be there. How we are going to improve the student. To attain whatever the teacher says, threshold value. So for that, whatever the action plans we have to consider, and action plans are required when we are going to change the syllabus. Accordingly, we have to change, or any action plan is required, the curriculum gaps for that, and accordingly we have to improve that. And like that, whatever the necessary actions, if it is not fulfilling the threshold CO attainment, and then we are going to do accordingly. So this is regarding the attainment of each and every course, and whatever we are targeted that, and whether we reached or not. If it are not reached, then where we are going to lagging, and next we are going to improve and to attain whatever the specific target we are going to set up. So to reach that, and what are the drawbacks are going to be discussed in the next batch students, and we are going to fulfill that one. With this, I conclude this. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.